Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Raw Life Health Show. We have another great guest today. Today we have Gary, and Gary's been on a raw food diet mostly now for about 10 years. And hello, Gary. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? All good over here.
Great. Gary, I've interviewed a lot of people. I've been eating a raw food diet for a long time, and I've interviewed a lot of people who've been doing it longer than me. But I also like to interview people that are into it for a good amount of time, maybe not as long as me, but just have some experience to hear their stories of how they got into it and advice they have for others. So
Mhm.
you not only eat a raw food diet mostly, but you also help people with this through your YouTube
Right.
channel and your teachings, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So give us a little of your background. Where are you located?
Currently, I'm living in Paraguay in South America. I moved here 4 years ago from Germany. I'm from northern Germany, close to Hamburg. And I moved here basically because I wanted to be in an environment where I can grow my own fruit and be in a tropical climate to live this lifestyle a little better, I would say, than in a cold climate where the fruit quality is not that great and it's also very expensive.
So how is the climate where you live? Is it tropical?
Yes, it's tropical. It's kind of like in Florida.
Okay,
Like we have 10 months of summer, I would say.
wonderful. Are you growing your own fruit there?
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh, how
have a
much
lot of
how
fruits.
much land do you have to grow on?
I have about an acre, I would say.
Nice,
Yeah.
very nice. And are you growing fruit trees?
Yes, I have mango trees, all kinds of citrus fruits, dragon fruit, um, what else? Bananas, of course, and acerola cherries, jaboticaba, all
Wow.
kinds of
Now, did you plant all your trees?
No, a lot of them were already here. I was looking for a property because I know like it takes a while for a fruit tree to bear some fruit, but in that sense, I was looking for something that was already a little established. But now I'm growing a lot more too.
That's wonderful. All right, so tell us, you're in Germany and you're just eating the average diet, I guess, growing up. And what happens? Did you get sick? Did somebody tell you about the raw foods? What happened that made you decide you want to change the way you live?
So basically, my story like began when I was a kid because I never really enjoyed the taste of meat. So I was always opposed to that, but you know how it is. Like as a kid, you have to eat what's on your plate. And so when I was 17, I decided to become vegetarian. So I cut out all the meat and then I dove into more research about the whole lifestyle. And very soon I came across some vegan books and I read about it and it made total sense to me, like about about the health reasons, but also ethical reasons and environmental reasons. And I wanted to try it out. I'm always about self experimentation and I just wanted to see what the difference feels like. So I gave myself a good amount of time. So I transitioned from a vegetarian to a vegan diet within a year. So every month I would take a few things that I would usually eat and see how I can substitute them with a vegan option, which then was very easy for my mind and body to adapt to this lifestyle. So I'm always about this like a little like slower approach, if you will, because it's in my opinion it's more sustainable long term.
Sure, sure.
And so that was not really so much for health reasons, but then I got into like a pretty deep hole, like a pretty negative hole where I got like pretty severe depression. Also my skin was pretty bad. My digestion was not that great. So yeah, it was a pretty dark time for me. And then at some point, I came across a YouTube video about raw veganism. So, and that sounded very interesting. Never heard about something like that before. But like before with the vegan diet, I was like, well, just let's try it out, see how it feels. And then I gave myself a few more months to transition to a raw diet. And that was a little more tricky than transitioning to a vegan diet where you can eat so many other things still. Um, so it was more about experimenting, like, oh, what can I eat? How can I make this interesting for myself? Right. And then, but I felt better and better. I felt more energy coming into the body. I felt more alive. And also my mind got like much clearer. I had pretty severe brain fog beforehand. And then in the beginning, I incorporated still a lot of like nuts and seeds, because when we come from a like cooked food diet where we have high like calorie foods and like that are much denser, then we want this like feeling of being like full and satiated, right? And on a raw diet, a lot of times, like if we keep it very clean and simple, this feeling is not there so much in the same way. So the nuts and seeds were definitely helpful in the beginning for the transition, but then over time that felt a little heavy as well. And that's when I actually came across a YouTube video from Douglas Graham about his 80-10-10 approach and a more fruit-based lifestyle. And that sounded really awesome. And the results he has with it are incredible, in my opinion. So slowly I started introducing more and more fruits into my lifestyle as well. And that was it for me. Like that made such a tremendous change in my entire energy level. My skin cleared up in a few weeks. My digestion got better and better and better. And I just felt so enthusiastic about life again. Like my depression went away. It was as if like something just opened up within myself, and it was a pretty radical and like positive change that I experienced there.
And how
And
long ago was that?
That's well, that's like 10 years ago, pretty
Wow.
much. Yeah.
Wow. So you've been doing this for the last 10 years.
Yes.
That's
hmm
amazing. That's amazing. So how much of your diet is from the food you're growing versus that you get at the store or somebody else's farm or
hmm
something?
Depends on the season a little bit. Like in mango season, for example, I don't really have to buy so much other food, because literally every day in peak season, I can pick up like 100 mangoes per day.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to talk to you about the fruit trees because I have another channel called Fruitful Trees. I don't know if you know about that.
Oh, okay. That
So
sounds
yeah,
great.
so we could talk about fruits and things like that. So depending on the season, okay, give us an idea of what your diet is like on the average day. I know it also depends on the season, but give us a
Sure.
basic idea.
Yeah. Usually I start my day with like 64 ounces of juice, mostly like watermelon juice or pineapple, orange apple juice, something like that, or a green juice, something sometimes. Um, and then I continue for like lunch. I do a big smoothie with like 5, 6 bananas and some dates and some berries. And then in the afternoon, I have some more fruit, like a bowl of fruit with, for example, grapes. And I like to combine them with passion fruit and pineapple, for example. But a lot of times I also do just a mono meal, which in my opinion is the best for digestion. And then usually for dinner, I do either another fruit bowl or I do a salad.
Okay. And so what time do you normally get up and go to sleep every day?
Usually I get up around between 7, 7:30. And then I go to bed at probably 11.
Okay, so you get 8 hours a night sleep and your sleep's been fine. Have you run into any health challenges in the last 10 years at all?
Barely.
Okay,
Like
that's
not really.
great.
Like
And how
before,
old? Oh, how old are you?
I'm 33 now.
Wonderful. That's great. That's great.
Before my transition, I was sick twice every year. Like I didn't really encounter that anymore since my transition.
And how's your friends and your family? How do they reply to the way you eat?
Of course, in the beginning, they were pretty concerned because no one knows anyone who does this, right? And so they were just concerned that I won't get all the nutrition that I need. But it's interesting, like over the last years, a lot of them changed their lifestyle now because they saw me like getting better and better, and I'm thriving on it. And they were like, well, can't be that bad then, I guess.
Now, when you
So a
say
lot of my family incorporates more fruit now, way more fruit than before. And some of them said like just recently, like, oh, I get it now. And
Sure.
that's
When you
pretty,
say you're thriving at this, what does that mean? Because sometimes people go on this diet, so they're overweight before, and then they get on this diet and they lose weight. Now they're not skinny, but they lose weight. So everyone says, "Oh, they look like they're dying." When you say you're thriving, so how are you doing with the weight issue, the energy issue, and everything? What does thriving mean to you?
thriving to me is or means that I'm pretty energetic on a daily basis and a steady energy, not like this up and down like what most people
Sure.
are going through with like having a coffee in the morning to get up and then they crash and then they need another coffee and then they have lunch and then they fall into a food coma and then they need another coffee and so on. It's steady, like you wake up in the morning and you have energy and then that stays for most of the day and then you go to bed and it just continues like that.
And
of
what about
course,
what'd you say?
of course there are different cycles as well, like if you do this cleansing diet then there are also times where you go into deeper detox and then the energy can drop a little bit because the body's just um, working on itself to improve the function, etc.
Yeah, about cleansing. Have you done any fasting?
Yes, I did several water fasts and juice fasts. My longest juice fast was 30 days. Nothing like super crazy what we see on Instagram these days, like with 150 days or anything like that. But I did 70 days on grapes, and that was probably like my most profound cleansing experience.
And what happened?
I just saw a lot of mucus leaving my body, lots of mucoid plaque, things like that, and just my mind got clearer and clearer. And every day I felt like an increase in energy. I was working out heavily during that time because I felt like I have to use this energy somehow.
And how many grapes were you eating per day?
uh, Probably around 6 pounds.
A day, okay. And that's it, the whole day.
Uh-huh. Right.
All right. And when you were doing that, how was your bowel movements? Were you going to the bathroom every day?
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what is your weight now? How tall are you and what's your weight?
My weight pretty much stays the same all the time, unless I do like a cleanse, like a juice fast or so, then it goes down a little bit. But otherwise, it's pretty consistent at around 135 pounds.
Wow, I appreciate you telling me that because most of the time when I interview people from Europe, they give me kilos and then we got to translate it. But that's great that you gave pounds. So
Yeah.
135 pounds. How tall are you?
Um. Wait. Let's see. In foot, that's I think I'm 5'9".
Okay. Okay. You're doing it, man. That's great. All right. And so you create this passion to do this. Is now I do you have a job or is this what you do full time to help people get better?
Yes, that's what I do full time. I do iridology readings and detoxification or healing coaching or life coaching in general because I'm about a holistic approach. So I don't only work on the physical body, but I also work with the emotions and with the mind.
Sure. That's really cool. And so do you have family or anything like that, or you're just doing this on your own?
Right now I live here alone. My fiance actually lives in the US. in Connecticut. So I'm bouncing back and forth right now.
Oh, so you
But
come to
my
the
dad,
United States sometimes.
yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay. And
Hmm.
does she eat a raw food diet?
Mostly, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She eats some cooked foods as well, and some seafood, but mostly raw.
Now, you decided to go to Paraguay because you wanted to be in a tropical environment, but there are tropical environments all over. So, what made you choose Paraguay?
Hmm. Yeah, I actually never really heard anything about this country before I moved here, and my dad got me into it. And there are a lot of advantages over other tropical countries, in my opinion. First of all, the immigration process is very easy and cheap, so it's very easy to live here, and everything's very affordable. Like to buy a property is very easy, and then the costs of living are very affordable too, and it's a very relaxed environment. Like everyone here is very friendly and open, and then we don't have any nuclear power. It's 100% water powered, which I think is really great. um, we don't have any climatic catastrophes, no earthquakes, and because we're landlocked, we're in the dead center of South America. We don't get any tsunamis or hurricanes or anything like that either.
Well,
So those were
that,
the main reasons.
then, and how's I know in South America, like Argentina and Brazil, crime's pretty bad. How is it where you are?
Where I live here, I feel very safe. I never had any bad experiences. I know, like in every country, there are bad areas that you should avoid, but like so far, I never had any bad experiences, like I said.
That's great, man. And all right, so you moved to Paraguay. Wow, wow, because that's wild. I didn't know it was as tropical there. So how far are you from
Mhm.
the Amazon rainforest? Pretty far or not too far?
It's definitely a few hours, I would say. Like probably, if you want to drive, probably like a 10-hour drive.
And what's the language people speak there?
We speak Spanish here.
Do you speak Spanish yourself?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm learning, but I'm getting through.
So do you think you are the only raw foodist living in Paraguay?
No, I met a few other people, but it's very rare.
Okay. And what do they think about the vegetarian diet or the vegan diet in Paraguay?
There is a vegan scene, but from what I've seen, it's really more about junk food vegan. So everywhere you find a vegan restaurant or meetups or anything like that, it's all about just burgers and pizza and all
Yeah.
those substitutes.
Well, there are a lot of people now on the internet that are for the vegan diet and fruitarian diet, but then there are a whole bunch of people that are just continuously knock it and they say it's no good. And
Mhm.
what would your advice be? Or what would you say to somebody that says you need meat to be healthy, or the vegan diet can never work, or raw food diet is impossible? What would you say to them?
Well, I think everyone has to make their own experiences, of course. And I can tell, like, from experiencing like a vegan diet for 16 years now and a fruit-based diet for 10 years. Um, if you continuously listen to your body and what it needs, then there shouldn't be an issue. Like it's only like when we get into our minds too much and we think like, oh, I have to be like 100% on fruit. That's the only way. Like I can't implement any greens or veggies or so because that's against this lifestyle. Then it's not going to work, probably, especially if you're in a country that's uh, where you don't have access to really good, high quality fruits. So I think you have to look at where you're living and what's available to you, and then it definitely works. Absolutely. If you want
Sure.
to do, you have to do your research though, and or or even better, you have a mentor, someone who has a lot of experience with it, who can guide you in the transition phase.
Did you have a mentor when you were getting into this, do you think? No.
No, unfortunately not. So I did a lot of self-experimentation, and that was a fun journey, of course, but could have been way easier if I had someone.
Sure, sure. So are you a citizen out there, or do you just visit and rent a property, or did you actually buy and own a property?
I own a property here. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's great. Well, I want to encourage everyone to get more into this. And there's a lot of people out there, not just myself, who have been doing this a good amount of time. And this man here has a website and he does coaching. So it's another resource for people. Tell everybody your website, and they can find all your social media on the website and all that, correct?
Yes, that's correct. My website is fruitfulsolution.com. And there you can read all about my services when it comes to iridology, which I think is an incredible tool we can use to examine the body and see like what areas in the body we can take proper or more or support more and take care of, so that we can like progress with our healing journey in the best and most effective way. And then I also have detoxification consultations.
Wonderful. And they can find all that. I'll put the link below the video, everybody. Let me ask you another question I forgot to ask you is, what's your opinion about supplements?
Also depends like where you are. I think if you're up north where there's not a lot of sunshine, it might be beneficial to take some vitamin D. Otherwise, I'm not really a supplement person. I took them in the past, especially when I started out on the vegan diet, and I did a blood test and it showed low B12 levels, for example, and low iron levels. Then I took some supplements and they didn't change anything. So, and then when I changed and when transitioned to a raw vegan diet and fruit-based diet, then I did a blood test again after a couple of years and everything was normal without any supplements.
And how often do you get your blood tested now?
I would say like once a year. Yep.
Great, great. Well,
Mhm.
that's wonderful, man, and that's great. Well, it's great to meet you, and everybody get on his website and check that out, because I'm sure the more people out there doing this, the better. But is there anything else you want to say to the audience about what you've learned, how you feel, or how you could help people?
Sure. In general, like if you're interested in this lifestyle, I would say definitely reach out to someone who can guide you on this journey and avoid any mistakes that I had to go through myself. And then just experiment with it, see like what feels good to you, like what makes you feel energetic. Like if you eat a more standard diet right now, see how that makes you feel like after a meal. Listen to your body, tune in, and see if you feel more energetic or sluggish afterwards, and then make changes. Try out a fruit meal maybe and see how that feels, and then stick to what feels the best to you. That's what it's all about. We all just want to feel good, right? We want to thrive. We want to feel energetic every day.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Great advice. What do? You do exercise?
Yeah, I work out pretty much every day a little bit, and mostly like calisthenics, yoga, things like that.
Great, great, man. So wonderful. Well, everybody, check out his link, and thank you so much for joining us, man. And definitely post your questions below, everybody, and I'm sure you'll come back and answer them. So thank you.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life.